Alright, so today we're going to be doing the easiest, most idiot-proof Halloween costume ever. Seriously, anyone can put together a Scarecrow costume in a couple of minutes, so if it's October 31st and you're watching this video and you're like, oh crap, I don't have a costume, this is the one you can really simply, easily, quickly do. So I'm starting off by just putting on some foundation. I poured out the Maybelline Fit Me on my hand, and I'm just rubbing it in with my hands. And then I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques sponge, your makeup sponge, whatever you want to use, and just kind of blending it in like that to set it all into my skin and make sure that it doesn't have any finger streaks. Then I'm using some concealer. Now, my version of the Colourpop concealer that I have here is a little bit too light for me, so try to get a concealer that matches your skin tone a little bit better than this one. It's still lighter so that it brightens, but, you know, this is what I had. So because it was so light, I actually went in with the matte shade from the Naked Heat palette to set it down, because it's a little bit darker than the concealer. It was my attempt at making the concealer blend in with my skin better, and it kind of sort of worked. So now I'm going to fill in my eyebrows. At this point in time, my hair is kind of light, like it's dyed black, but it's grown in quite a bit, so I'm filling in my eyebrows lighter than you have really seen. So this is just the Rimmel eye pencil in brown black, I believe, and then I'm going to go over it with the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in black, like always, and just the easiest way to do my eyebrows, honestly, that's what we're doing. Then I'm going to take some powder, and I'm going to just set down my foundation, especially in my T-zone. One thing about Scarecrows, they don't really have glowy skin. They're usually more matte, so keep that in mind if you want to. It's not really super important, but I just wanted to set down my concealer so it'd be a little matte. So, for palettes, we're going to use Subculture and Naked Heat mainly. So we're going to start with Subculture and use that probably mainly. So I'm kind of starting with a sort of like a warm brown and starting that in my crease, and then kind of moving up the warm shades. So we're going for like warm brown matte, and then we're going to like sort of light orangey matte, and then we're gonna start blending that out with some of the yellow shades in the palette, just to get like a really warm crease. When I think of Scarecrows, I think of like your typical fall colors. So like when you see trees, they're very red, orange, yellow. So the color scheme of my whole makeup look here is very orangey, yellowy. That's the plan. So now I'm going to go into one of the shades of the Naked Heat palette with my finger. It's kind of like a reddy, shiny shade, and just kind of pat that all over my lid so that we have a shiny lid shade. Realistically, you can do your eye makeup however you want to for this look. This is just what I chose to do. Wouldn't be a makeup look for me if I didn't have winged liner, so I'm just taking my Stila liquid liner here and drawing my wings out, pulling them in. I did not put on fake eyelashes in this video, but at the end, in the final look, I kind of feel like I should have, so that's a regret. I feel like it looks a little incomplete, but I did just put on liquid liner, and then later I put on mascara. Now we're going to go into the Naked Basics palette, and that's shade Naked 2. Now, I use the Naked Basics palette a lot in this video and just in general, because the Naked 2 shade in this palette is actually a really great contour shade for my skin tone. So with this fluffy brush, I am kind of contouring my cheeks a little bit, and then I believe I also do my chin and my nose and my forehead with this shade too. I wish Decay had made just like a really big single of this shade for me, because it's that perfect natural shadow shade for me. Like, it's not too dark. Like, if you look, the shadows on my face, even in this video, are just, you know, probably to the hexadecimal color Naked 2 by Urban Decay. So I'm just contouring the bottom of my nose there, and then just to make some spots a little more extreme, I'm going into the NYX blush in the shade Taupe, and I did that a little bit on my nose and my cheekbones. And now what I'm doing is I'm mapping out a patch on my nose that we're gonna fill in to kind of look like, you know, the Scarecrow's been a little bit patched together. So I'm going to do it with this deep contour shade first before we do any kind of black lines or anything. In case I mess it up, then it just looks a little bit more like a messed up shadow, you know, more than anything else. So once I have it kind of figured out the way I want it, then I'm going to go on the inside of that contour shadow that I did and create a black line with my liner. This way we also have kind of shadow on the outside of the stitching, if you will, and it makes it look a little more believable. So now I'm taking that contour shade again on a little brush, and I'm just drawing lines straight out from the sides of my mouth to map out where my mouth stitches are going to go, and also to create a little bit of a contour. Before we finish the stitches, I realized that I forgot to do blush. So this would actually work better if you had a cream blush, but I looked all over and I didn't have one, and I definitely don't have one in like a warm peachy color. So I ended up having to do this with a flat circular brush that I had. See, it's actually broken. And I just got a lot of product on it and just pat it on my cheek in one single circle spot. I really feel like that's the right kind of cheek for a scarecrow. And then once I finished with that, then we went back to the mouth stitches, and I drew the line out with my liquid liner. Straight out, keep calm. Liquid liner smells fear, so if you aren't afraid of it, it won't be afraid of you. So just draw the lines straight out, or, you know, whatever shape you want, and then do a couple lines straight up and down for these stitch lines. We're going to do that on the nose too eventually, but just hang tight for that one. Once you have your lines straight up and down, you're going to want to take that dark contour shade and add some like shadows to probably the bottom stitches. You could probably also add some to just like the ends of the stitches as well. It might help, but I did not do that here. Now, using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk, I'm going to fill in that patch on my nose so that when I pat eyeshadow onto it, it's a little bit more of a bright, flat, matte shade. So using this sort of peachy color, very akin to what's on my cheeks and what's on my eyelids from the Pastel Goth palette, I'm just going to pat this all over the white so that I have, like I said, a bright patch. Then I was feeling like it looked a little too peachy, and I went in with sort of like a reddy brownie shade from Naked Heat over it. I kind of regret doing that because in the end it just kind of makes the nose patch look dirty. So I kind of wish I hadn't done that. Learn from my mistakes. But, you know, it happened. Then I took my black liner, drew some stitches around the nose patch, and that's how it looks after all. Then I curled my eyelashes, threw on some mascara. By some mascara, I mean a lot of mascara. And then I had to pick a lip color. It was much harder than you might think it is. I used the Colourpop Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Strip. And then, of course, the most important steps for any true scarecrow. You need a plaid shirt, and you need some braids. If I had figured out this look beforehand, I would have probably found some hay to braid into my hair, maybe a straw hat, anything more. But if you're just looking for the simplest way to do it, just braid your hair, throw on some jeans, throw on a plaid shirt, and you're good to go. This is the final scarecrow look. It's the easiest look I'll probably do the whole month, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of this video and my other videos in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!